It's a good drink. It's a good drink, Bert. It's a good drink. Thought I said I wouldn't make weird ASMR, but here I am being weird. Drank a little Diet Dr. Pepper before I decided to record. Apologize for the desk having a little bit of clutter on here. Got chapstick to keep my lips nice and supple. I can't even say it without laughing. I have to stop or I'm going to burst out laughing, and that's not very ASMR-y. That sounded like I said Atari. Anyway, what the hell is this video? Well, basically, it's more so I am testing out this very strange iPod or tripod that I received, where you essentially can put your iPhone on there with the MagSafe charger and record videos just like this. So it's also a desk pube detector. God, my nails are long. This video is already a disaster. Stop watching right now. So yeah, essentially it was me wanting really to try this tripod, try my DJI microphones again, so the Chinese government can spy on me. So I got the idea to do this video because one of my favorite men has decided to return, and that man is Soulja Boy. And if you know anything about Soulja Boy, minus the one hit he had 87 years ago, he is infamous for his quote-unquote video game consoles. In 2018, he tried to release a bunch of cheap Chinese knockoff consoles, which is funny enough, he took the money for them but never released them. And again, he came back in 2021 and he tried the same thing, but with the TRDR Pocket. Essentially, they were overpriced POW Kitty consoles with the Android operating system on them, and they were just a whole bunch of illegal games with emulators on Android. And yeah, that never happened. He also had a bunch of crypto fraud and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, he's trying to come back again. And this time he's straight up ripping off Retroid. This is the Retroid Pocket Flip. This computer right here actually is pretty amazing. This is the GPD Win Mini. It has the Ryzen AI HX 370 in here, 890M graphics. This is a pretty monster tiny gaming PC. Pretty much any game you could throw at it, you could play it at pretty decent settings. But this does not compare. Unfortunately, I am dreading this future. But this does not compare to this with Nvidia GeForce Now. Now, making that video on Soulja Boy and him ripping off Retroid and ripping off the Pocket Flip and other stuff from Retroid, I remembered, I'm like, oh crap, I want to use my Flip again. So I took it out. That kind of sounds perverted, but anyway, I took out my Flip and I saw I had Nvidia GeForce Now on there. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it. I heard that they did some improvements to it. And I was speechless. It was good before. And maybe I just had a very good connection this time. But I it felt like I was playing the games natively, like the hardware itself was actually playing the games. And of course, so playing the games natively on here, okay, as cool as this thing is, I'll open it up for a second for you. Playing the games native on here is great, but there's no way that even the 890M, which is impressive integrated graphics on here, man, that looks really gross, that mouse pad, and I always use this with clean hands anyway. Even with the very capable integrated graphics, it can't compare to the settings games can run it on here because you're using Nvidia's data centers in their GPUs. So let me turn this thing on a second. So, oh man, this is going to be interesting here. All right, so this is the Retroid Pocket Flip. Nothing too special about this. It has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 865. Nothing too special about that. That was a flagship chip for Android phones, or let's just say a flagship chip from Qualcomm back in 2019. So in 2025, it's actually kind of, I would say, low to mid-range at this point, but nonetheless, for what the Retroid Pocket Flip and the Retroid Pocket 5, which is identical to this, but it doesn't have the clamshell screen. For what they do, even with a lot of emulation, even some Switch emulation, shockingly, you can do a lot with this chipset. But my point being is that it's very modest hardware. And this is, oh, look at my bald head, man. I'm a sharp looking man. Let's play some games here. Essentially, cloud computing, not even just cloud gaming, unfortunately, is what's going to be, I guess you could say, the future of gaming and the future of how, even when you're going to edit video, you're going to have the video you edit, you're going to edit it via cloud software, and you're just going to have a terminal in your house, and you're just going to connect it to a monitor, and that's how you're going to edit. Gaming is unfortunately all going to be done in the cloud. Now, am I looking forward to this future? Absolutely not. I'm not looking forward to it at all. And when is this future going to be at our doorsteps where it's mainstream? I have no idea. I used to be very bullish about predicting that. And then I realized I'm an idiot. So I don't know when, but there's no if. It is when. And we're seeing the beginning of it now. So, I mean, where do I even begin here? I'll play some Doom the Dark Ages for you. Interestingly enough, I actually can play fairly decently through I have the iPhone 17 Pro Max here, through the viewfinder, because it's like a 1-to-1, no lag. I had to cut that part out there, do a jump cut, didn't realize the volume wasn't down. Hopefully I could do this in a way you don't see my... There we go. Nice reflective OLED screen. Trying to see if I can... Alright, so this is Doom the Dark Ages. And this, like I said, obviously is not going to work natively out here, right? But here we are. And the controls are just Xbox controls inside of the Retroid Pocket Flip. I think I mentioned this before, but I want to make it abundantly clear. I am not advocating for this device. I actually like it, but I don't have like a affiliate link, get one if you want to. I would actually wait anyway, to be quite frank with you, because I have a feeling because they come out with the Retroid Pocket 6. I heard there was some controversy behind that though. So I am sure they are going to come out with I'm just going to leave it on the default settings. I am sure they are going to come out with a new Retroid Pocket Flip with, I would say, I'm just going to play this on easy for demo's sake, but dude, this is cloud gaming. This is through the cloud. Obviously, this is not running this natively. You're no way in hell you're running Doom the Dark Ages on a Snapdragon 865, which is now going on over 6 years old. But with a good internet connection, I mean, here we are. Doom the Dark Ages, and I feel a teeny tiny bit of responsiveness, like a weightiness, where there's maybe a little bit of lag. But it is, I wouldn't believe it on this device, and I would question if it was cloud gaming, but if you gave me a device that I thought could muster playing Doom the Dark Ages at similar settings, but it was going through cloud gaming, I don't even want to fully shout out Nvidia GeForce Now, because Lord knows I have quite a few issues with Nvidia, as a corporation. But look how far, and I have to begrudgingly admit that Nvidia has the best cloud gaming service out there, bar none, and I have tried them all. It's interesting now, also, playing cloud gaming now, and I remember, I believe it was On Live. If I have the name wrong, I'll put it in an annotation, text annotation. But it was On Live, which was one of the earliest cloud gaming. They tried cloud gaming back in like the early 2010s. And I remember Mark from Classic Game Room covering that. And I think he was reviewing Assassin's Creed on Live. But that, of course, I believe maybe it was Sony who bought their tech, but because it was way too premature, On Live did fail. But the thought of cloud gaming has been something that's been around for a long time. That was back in 2011. Obama wasn't even in his second term yet. Jesus Christ, much different time. But yeah, cloud gaming has been brewing for quite a long time. And like I was saying, it's going to be deeper than just cloud gaming. We're going to be doing all of them, and then you can tie in kind of AI to this too, right? We're going to be doing, we're not going to have any hardware with computing power in our homes. It's just going to have very basic low power processors, depending on whether it be a mobile device or a home terminal type computer. It's just going to have a nice screen, very basic potato processor so it could interface with the internet, and everything else. I should have done the special attack on that, dude. Is going to be done in the cloud. And Peter Thiel is going to know what you're watching on adult websites, because that should just warm your heart. But I know I'm kind of making some terribly implemented or executed dark jokes, but it is true. You know, there's going to be the day where not just gaming, like I said, you're going to be doing everything, and you're going to have limited computing power, and everything is going to be done in the cloud. Again, this is going to be down the line, and I know I'm probably repeating myself with this video, but there's people who make ASMR videos and say the same word for 45 minutes, so me whispering like a fool, I think I'm going to pass. But you see how good this looks? I'm filming this, maybe because I'm tired and running on like 4 hours of pretty crappy sleep, but me filming this, I forgot I was playing. Even though I'm talking about cloud gaming, I forgot I was playing this via the cloud. And there's no, at least sensible, minus the GPD win. I think it's the 5 now with the Strix 395 plus max chip with the 8060S integrated graphics, but there is no, even the ROG Xbox Ally X could not run this game anywhere near this smooth. Especially at these settings. It's on ultra settings, I believe I saw before. I just left it at the default settings. I know I said that as well. You know, and I mean, I have the sound down for obvious reasons, but again, it feels like I'm playing a native experience. You know, and it's so weird. Even the integrated graphics now, I don't really use dedicated GPUs for gaming that much anymore. I have a 4090. I don't use it. I might actually sell it. Actually, might be definitely. Ever since the more capable RDNA 2 graphics have came to mobile devices like the Steam Deck and the 680M, which actually has 4 more compute units than the Steam Deck. And I've been mostly gaming on integrated graphics, even if it's a desktop PC. So it's just amazing. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but I'll tie this into it. It's just amazing that integrated graphics have come so far that I really, unless I absolutely need to play a game at ultra settings, and well, even though in 2020 or 2025, excuse me, Jesus, it doesn't guarantee anything, but even with a high-end GPU, you know, unless you absolutely need to have peak settings with all the different tech with image reconstruction and everything else that's available with on the very capable, and the integrated graphics in and of themselves are just insane now. But with all the other tech like FSR and DLSS and Intel XeSS, getting even more out of limited hardware because of the image reconstruction, it really, unless, like I said, I need the ultimate experience, which at 44 I don't need. I really don't see a need to have a big conventional desktop PC anymore. I know I'm kind of going off on a ramble here, but I'm kind of not. Like, it all ties together with we're really making a lot of capable tech very portable. So between having, you know, a pocket-sized Super Pete laptop, which I just showed you, like the GPD Win Mini 2025, and then with cloud gaming, you can have AAA experiences anywhere. I'm kind of talking about the glass half full perspective of cloud gaming now. You know, when I was a kid, but yeah, the back in my day portion of this video, when I was a kid, when you wanted to play games on the go, it was a watershed moment, strangely enough, when the original Game Boy came out. You had to have a dedicated piece of hardware, which you knew, even after the Game Boy, the only exception was the Turbo Express. But you knew on that limited piece of hardware, albeit a step forward from Tiger Electronics games, that you were going to have the diet soda version or the Timu version, let's say, of the full-blown experience. Now, don't get me wrong, there were many games on the Game Boy that were some of the best games ever made. But, oh wait, what am I doing here? You didn't get the same experience. It was even like when the Vita was out, the PlayStation Vita, the games you were playing were watered down versions. I apologize if the screen is a little bit off sometimes here. I'm trying to keep it in frame. But when you played a game on the Vita or PSP, I mean, the consoles, the portable consoles definitely became more capable towards the end of their life, but that was the era of where portable games you knew were always going to be a cut down experience. They got better later on, like when the PSP, man, remember Vice City, or Liberty City Stories, playing GTA 3 on the go was mind blowing. But again, it was still, you weren't taking the same exact game, again, save for the Turbo Express, which came out, that was the 16-bit era of gaming. And the Turbo Express played the same games as the TurboGrafx 16, but that was the exception, not the rule. Again, I'm rambling now. But portable consoles, you had to have your own dedicated games for it because they were nowhere near as powerful in most cases as their home consoles. Now you're playing the same damn game. You have a Steam Deck, even a Switch 2, I think the Switch 2 has already sold 10 million units, by the way. Talking about gaming news on my ASMR channel. But you're now playing the same experience. Let's say, I'm going to have glass half full for the Switch 2 right now. You play Chronos, The New Dawn, on the Switch 2. You're playing the same version that you would play on the PC, on the Steam Deck, because the portable hardware now has become capable enough that you obviously may have to lower the settings from high to medium or whatever, but they've become capable enough that the same game can be played. You have, I'm trying to, man, and then again, I'm kind of totally stepping away from cloud gaming, but with what you could do with current generation portable hardware, it's pretty incredible. And what's even more incredible is that we're at the point that you can have the same experience on the go that you can have at home. And oddly enough, with the criticisms I have with Nintendo, you got to give the Switch credit. I really do think that this industry flourished, and I don't even want to think thanks in part, thanks to largely due to the original Switch, and it made the gaming industry realize that people wanted the same experiences, granted graphically, the Switch couldn't keep up, but they wanted to play Doom 2016 on the go. They wanted to play The Witcher 3 on the go. They wanted to play and they wanted to take that same piece of hardware in a lot of cases and dock it and play it at home. And it was because of the Switch, I think we have a lot of these mobile gaming PCs now. And, like that GPD Win laptop I was showing before. And if it was not for the Switch, I don't think the industry would be what it is right now. It wouldn't be it kind of reshaped the landscape. And I think it was the success of, even though it didn't sell an insane amount of units, it was the success of the Steam Deck that kind of helped water down the value of a console. So it's a really interesting time, and I'm really interested to see where gaming is, between how popular mini PCs are becoming, and how PC gaming has become way more popular, and how a lot of these hybrids and handheld consoles have really changed how people game. And with that, I've been playing this entire time on via the cloud and Nvidia GeForce Now, and then you have cloud gaming on the horizon. I'm very curious, man, to see where gaming is in like 2035. I don't think any of us can predict it right now. I'm trying to bring this guy over to the barrel here, and it is, man, am I failing, huh? I no longer failed. I did succeed at that point. I mean, this, I am going to miss, and it sucks. And it's not, like I said, we have plenty of more time where we're going to be able to build really powerful desktop gaming PCs, and we're still going to have native hardware for the foreseeable future. But if the appeal is dying to me, and I've been a PC gaming enthusiast for a long time, I'm sure other people are feeling it too. It's like it's not as, to me anyway, and it could be, I guess you could say, age. I don't really see how it is age. I love gaming just as much as I did 10 years ago, But with how capable all of this super tiny hardware has become, it's just not sexy anymore. I know it's kind of corny using that word. There's just that allure of, you must have the top of the line hardware to get the optimum experience. It's just that incentive is no longer there. Like, I don't feel like, okay, you go out and buy a 5090 for whatever the hell it costs now. Let's say, I know at one point it was close to $3,000. Am I getting $3,000 more of an actual experience? Or is it just that I want to subconsciously want to flex that I bought the best graphics card? Because at the end of the day, I know, as people who are enthusiasts, when you get the top of the range stuff, are you really using that extra $1,000 you spent on that graphics card? Are you really actually enjoying it when you get over that appeal, and you've had the card for 6 months and you're not quote unquote excited for it anymore, and you're just gaming on it? It doesn't become a novelty. It becomes a gaming appliance, essentially. Are you feeling the same way about it? Do you feel like that extra money you spent to get a few more frames here and there was worth it? Maybe to some of you it genuinely is, and I'm not knocking you for it. But I know there's a lot of people that, and I could still be guilty as charged, that are like me, and it's like you buy it and it's like, all right, man, that's so cool. I get 10 more frames in Elden Ring at 4K. Wonderful. And then like a year later, it's like, oh wow, I barely use the card, and when I do, I don't really care and notice the difference in the settings, because I could have bought a card for half the price and been perfectly fine with it. And you just start to realize that, man. You start to realize that I find this tech more exciting, and I call it the Lamborghini effect. Like, yeah, okay, it's cool that you can go and buy the fastest car on the planet. And yes, the fastest car on the planet is going to be very fast. But when you go out and buy some, and they make it, it's the I believe the Toyota Corolla GRS, whatever. I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments section. When you could buy that car and it could go 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds, that to me is wild. That to me is exciting. Now, I wouldn't buy one of those. I would look like a giant man-child, but you get what I'm saying. Big giant things that are big, giant, and powerful don't impress me because they're designed to be that. But when you have an underdog like a 3-cylinder, when you have an underdog like a 3-cylinder turbocharged Corolla that could do 0 to have almost 300 horsepower and do 0 to 60, that is almost 300 horsepower. It can do 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. That to me, the underdog, and then pushing lower power tech, it's kind of the same thing to me with PCs and gaming. I'd rather see what the underdog tech is capable of than buy the top of the line stuff that you know will just play whatever you want to throw at it perfectly fine. Maybe that's the nerd in me, but that's just how I feel at 44 years old. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that this is a perfect time to end this video. As you see, this wasn't played through Nvidia GeForce Now. I don't think it skipped a single damn frame. I have another very interesting video coming to this channel that I have a ton of footage for, and I'm hoping to have that up in a much shorter time period than it took for me to have this video. So thank you so much for all of you tuning into this, and unfortunately, I see our future is cloud everything. And this is a perfect example. Me playing Doom, the Dark Ages, on this low power hardware is a perfect example of that.